dragon battles, domestic disputes, all while Matthew McConaughey goes fishing. All right. That and more on today's episode of The Real Review. So stay tuned. Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. Everybody, I am here with Joel, the Cones of Dunshire Cunningham.
I want to play the game. I actually do. I'm a big fan of long-form games like that. So
Yeah.
hopefully, I'm sure somebody out there made a Cones of Dunshire version you can actually play.
Yeah, so I've been playing Catan Jr. with my kids.
Yeah.
And it's super scaled back. It's not like real Catan.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've never played it. I know you have because I've been talking with Mickey and some other people about it.
Yeah, we used to have an ongoing sort of championship of sorts with Catan. So, yeah.
Anyways, who am I?
Today, I am with Matt, How to Train Your Computer Hey.
Yes, it's true. I'm not even using a computer today.
And that's because you're having issues, I guess, with your computer somewhat.
Yes,
so, yeah,
computers all wiggity whack at the moment.
Yeah, you're moving on.
It's all good.
To an upgraded. You're graduating to a newer computer.
Yes, it's a true story.
So, yeah.
It's a true story. I'm excited about it. We'll see how that goes.
Big thing in people's lives. You may not realize it.
It is.
It changes your life.
It is. It's literally, it's my Chris Traeger moment. It's literally like a 9-year advancement in computer technology.
And for those of you who are wondering, yes, Matt is you're on a track of trying to get done with all of the Parks and Recreation right now.
Yes, I just started.
All of these are Parks and Rec quotes.
I'm almost done with my first time through Parks and Recreation. It's taken me a long time to get through it or to start it, but it's happening. Anyways, that's not why you're here today.
Nope.
Welcome to The Real Review. This is a show where we give you our perspectives, our thoughts, our opinions, and take you on a journey with us as we talk about movies that we've seen, review them, all that fun stuff. I like to talk with my hands, so my hands are constantly moving when I'm talking.
Vidcast.
Exactly. And so Joel's maybe a little bit more analytical, potentially pessimistic, negative.
I talk with
critical.
my hands, but it's more like pointing down and getting angry.
Yeah,
angry gestures.
Exactly. And
family-friendly, appropriate gestures.
So he's potentially more on that side of things. Breaks things down really, really well. Can get in the nitty-gritty of things. I'm a little bit more emotionally driven, more positive at times. But then it's not to say we can cross paths into each other's territory a little bit, but we offer two different perspectives and like to kind of blend those together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what we do here on the show. Joel, tell everybody how they can get connected with us.
Will do. There's a couple of awesome ways to get connected to the podcast. First and foremost, we have our website, which is realreviewmedia.com. And we were having some issues with that this week, but we got those sorted out. So we always have
fixed it.
Yeah. We always have our episodes getting posted on the website. So if you're on any number of platforms, you can get connected there. Additionally, we have our Facebook, which is facebook.com/Real Review Media. I should know this. We talked about fishing in the intro. So just
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Real Review Media. We also have our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter, which are both at Real Review Media. We have our YouTube, which is it's youtube.com/The Real Review. I'm just failing all over the place with this. And then last but not least, our email. We'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. realreviewmedia@gmail.com. That's how to talk to us. I'm going to say this now, Matt, and you can probably hear it in the podcast. I apologize. I'm still getting over being sick. So if I'm a little overlooked, I missed a button here even on my shirt. If I seem a little out of it, it's because
I'm off to a roaring start.
Yes, I'm a little bit dragon pun. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit drugged up at the moment.
Yeah.
Just mostly good drugs are helping me, but on the downside, it kind of makes my brain a little fuzzy.
Mostly good drugs.
Yes.
Yes.
So
okay.
yeah, I'm going to apologize if I slur or mess up my speaking a little in advance.
Okay. Thank you for the apology.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind,
it's always great
listeners
to start
and viewers.
The podcast with apologizing for what you're about to do.
Yes. Anyways, perfect. That actually takes us into our first dealio, and I'm excited to talk about this because it's How to Train Your Dragon, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that first. And the first guy here is, we're going to go right into it. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. Before I dive into the synopsis,
I thought you were going for it. I was like, what?
Why didn't they just call it How to Train Your Dragon 3?
I don't know. I was actually myself wondering that.
First one's How to Train Your Dragon. Second one's How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah.
This one's How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
I honestly, I felt the same way. I don't know what they were going for. I have no idea. I literally was like, well, maybe it's the books, but that doesn't make sense because the second book probably had a different title.
That's like numbering something 1, 2, C.
Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm very confused by that. Anyways, here we go. When Hiccup discovers Toothless isn't the only Night Fury, he must seek the hidden world, secret dragon utopia, before a hired tyrant named Grimmel finds it first. And we got Jay Baruchel, America Ferrera, F. Murray Abram, Kate Blanchett, Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, Jonah Hill, Kristen Wiig, Kit Harington, Justin Ruppel, a ton of different people. And I am, up to this point, I've of the first 2 How to Train Your Dragon movies, I've been a fan of both of them.
Me too.
And I will say that I like this movie, and I think it's a good way to end this series. I didn't like it as much as the first 2, but I did enjoy it.
Okay.
I did find some enjoyment with this. One, let's start off with some positives. I think that the animation is stellar. There's some really amazing looking scenes.
Yeah. Especially the cave.
Yeah.
You know, when they finally discovered that lost world.
There's some really, really cool looking stuff. Yeah.
But you know that's coming.
There's some really good scenes. I know we always talk about like Pixar and how they're always improving and stuff like that. But like DreamWorks animation here is getting close to that where some of the stuff looks photoreal. Yeah. And you're like, wow, that's really incredible. So it looks really good, the overall aesthetic.
And I'm the judgy one. There was 2 or 3 scenes that I was a little like specifically with water. One where like Hiccup and Toothless come out of the water and there's like a weird effect. But for the most part, like you're saying, there was scenes legitimately where I'm like, these are definitely on par with Pixar.
Right.
Photorealistic at times. I mean, even looking at Hiccup and the way they've matured him, and you could even see like little like peach fuzz hair on his chin.
Yeah.
Like throughout the movie, I was noticing that, and I was like, oh, they like have hair on his face. That's like just this. It was really good. I think for the most part, and everybody felt real in their environments for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, I think the voice acting was great. There was a couple of. I did like some of the dragon. My favorite part about this trilogy, and they did it in this as well, is every movie, Toothless gets some type of like power upgrade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and he always uses that to like win the day.
I know. I'm like, that's super rad. It reminds me of like video games and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know, like he got upgraded, you know, he got way more power.
The cool thing about it though is it isn't like he just stumbled upon this new power or was like training really hard. It always ties into his purpose and his story moving forward. Like this one specifically, he had to learn that power from, and I'm going to kind of minor spoilers here, but from learning it from another dragon.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's showing how he's moving forward. He's connecting back with his dragon heritage.
Right.
And so it's like, wow, that's cool. It ties into where he's going with the story arc.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty cool in that sense. I really thought the last 5-ish minutes or so, they like really hit home, 5 to 10 minutes, whatever it was. They really hit home something that I was like, wow, that was a powerful way to end the movie. Because I wasn't as like super on board with the ending until the last like 5 to 10 minutes or so, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And it was kind of emotionally like nice. And I really like the way that they ended it. The trilogy, I don't think they're making anymore. They might.
I don't know. I honestly, I didn't even. Every time I watch these, they get to the end. It says based upon the book series. And I'm always like, oh, I should check out the book series.
I just learned this weekend that it was based on a book series. No.
Okay, like every time I'm like, oh yeah, it's based
My kids are listening to the audiobooks.
Oh, are they? Okay.
And I was like, wait, is this based off the movie or is there a book series? And they're like, it's a book series. I'm like, what?
Right. And that's what kind of like, every time I get done with these movies, I'm like, I'm going to check out the book series and find out more about it. I still haven't done it.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know if there's any more books in the series. Wow. I have a feeling probably not. They could easily I could see them easily doing a spinoff. Which is
There's
not
a TV show.
Well, I mean more of like, fast forward 15, 20 years, the kids grow up and then it's like the dragons. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're going to go do with it? I mean, I don't think Hollywood's beneath or below.
Yeah, I'm sure this won't be the last time that we see any of this world.
But as far as this story goes, I felt like they've done a great job with kind of closing it and putting it together in a nice package.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. Yeah. So before I get into the negatives, what else are you going to say about positives?
I think humor-wise, this was good for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. There was, I think, maybe one scene that I was kind of like laughing out loud.
Remind me that's one of my negatives. So,
okay. Yeah, I kind of chuckled a little bit. I think the first two definitely were more funny for me, more unexpected humor in the first two. I think one of the things that I continue to love about the series is that despite it being for kids, it has an adult mindset, an adult approach to life and death. And there's some childish sensibilities, especially when it comes to their fighting.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's unrealistic. But the way that there's death mixed in with the story, the way that there's growth and, conclusions to things and permanence, is really impactful in the series. And I really enjoy that. So that was a very positive for me. And then we mentioned the animation. That was probably another really good highlight for me. And I do think that it did provide satisfaction.
Right.
If you've been on board with these first two films, coming to the end of the story now, I do feel satisfied with where they've left it and where they've put it. So,
that's cool.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
think it's a super solid trilogy. It's actually one of the better trilogies if you look at anything like that out there. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the other thing I wanted to mention, this was a huge positive for me. My hat's off to whoever did the music.
Yeah.
There was a couple just, I don't know, something about like chanting type music at times I just love, and maybe that's just me, but there's a couple scenes like when they're in the cave and when Toothless is kind of courting his girl.
Yeah.
There was just some really beautiful kind of tracks and sounds, and I noticed it. And it's so rare these days to have tracks, like especially with like a lot of the Marvel movies. The music is just kind of there to be there. This one, it felt like, wow, it's actually involving me in the story more. It's pulling me in.
It's awesome.
So yeah, hats off with that. I think that one, more than the first two, was much more in the case in this third one.
What's really cool is that they've had kind of a common theme in a lot of the scoring throughout the trilogy. And it's really good. The main theme is really, really good. Real quick, negatives, and this is the same negative that I've said for all of the other How to Train Your Dragon movies, is the auxiliary characters, and that kind of falls in with the humor element. I don't really think that they're that funny. We do spend time with it, and it is kind of a nice distraction, I guess you could say at times, but I've never really been like a huge side character that they're just being goofy and giving each other a hard time the whole time, So that's kind of remained true. I'm not, I don't feel like any of that's really progressed. Their characters haven't progressed at all.
They had their own mini story arc, and this kind of ties into a negative of mine as well. They had a bit of a mini story arc for the side characters.
Yeah.
You start the movie off, kind of minor spoilers, but you start the movie off with them being so codependent with their dragons and so dependent upon them to fight. And they're making all these mistakes and they're barely managing to be successful in their fighting. And it shows kind of by the end of the film how that plays out and how that works out for them. So they do have their own little mini story arc, which I liked. But that really ties into a negative for me of the film, which is I felt like there was way too much going on with so many of the auxiliary side characters.
That's how it has been in every movie, I feel like.
This one in particular felt like that was the case for me because there was also, for me, pacing issues. There was so many times, no, you're good. There were so many times where I'm like, just give that a little bit more room to breathe. And the best moments of the film were like when they're discovering the cave or in the courtship scene, when there's like a breath there, or like when when Hiccup is interacting with his father in the flashback parts. You have room to breathe and kind of pacing slows down. And I loved that. And those are the best moments of the movies in general, all three. This one, there were so many times where it's like, well, we got to throw a joke in. We got to jump to the next thing. We got to boom. And I didn't like that. That made it feel really rushed at times and really like I'm just jumping from person's story to person's story.
Right.
So that I really didn't like.
I didn't care. I thought the villain was just okay.
Yeah,
like I wasn't as. I mean, I think the design and like the voicing of him was pretty cool and like menacing. But like,
they gave him a very generic backstory.
Very generic. He's just a generic villain in general.
I was raised this way, so this is what I know. They gave him the most, diabolical like, you can't change this because this is the way that it's been forever. Like purpose. And then he was effective in what he did, realistically, but he was unrealistic in the extremes that he went to.
Yeah,
because it just felt like all this stuff was more, I don't know, happenstance that he was becoming successful. And to me, it's like, why would you, if you're famous for like killing dragons, why would you just sedate all the dragons you're shooting? Why wouldn't you just kill them as soon as you shot them? I don't know. Stuff like that.
We don't know
stuff
about
like that. But it's a kid's movie. Yeah. So they don't want to go too dark, I'm assuming here.
Well, they got pretty dark in the second one, I felt like. But
there's dark moments.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And this one had a little bit of that, but it ends on a high note. and I thought that was done well. But
Yeah.
I think because of all of the different intertwining narratives of all the side characters and what they had going on, kind of coming together and coalescing in this film, as well as them trying to, and I'm just going to say it, the romantic aspect between him and Astrid in this film is very forced to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like it just kind of had to be there,
Right.
and it just kind of happened. I really didn't connect with it at all.
Yeah.
So that being a part of the mix as well, just everything felt very, like if it had been mostly focused on the romance between Toothless and Light Fury, as well as Astrid and Hiccup, if that had been the primary focus,
Right.
then that would have been much more kind of part of,
Sure.
much more, I think I would have been much more on board with it. But you had the whole story with Grimmel, you had the whole story with his father and trying to be a good leader.
Yeah.
And then, you have this guy who wants to become like the number two, even though he's the number, it was just way too much. So I want to stop talking too much about it.
No
but,
worries.
because of that, I'm giving it a little bit lower grade. I still overall enjoyed it.
What's your grade for it?
I'm going to give it an 81.
Okay.
I think it still deserves a B. It's still in the B range, and it's definitely better than a lot of the other films out this year that I've seen so far. But I don't know. I just felt like they just wipe away some of this extra stuff, simplify it, and they would have been really cool.
Yeah. I'm going to give it an 85. As where like the first two were closer to like B plus A minus range. I'm gonna give it 85 though, because I still enjoyed it overall. I think this is especially the end. There's some like nice like tender moments at the end. Being a dad myself, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. I love the way they wrapped it up.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What would you give it as a whole, the trilogy?
Ooh,
felt like asking you that.
Ooh, I gotta be like 89, 90 somewhere in there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm close to that. I'm probably say around 86, 87
for the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
It's good trilogy. It's really solid. It's probably one of the better animated trilogies out there, aside from Toy Story.
I agree. I will say this as well. I think this film will work really well. Like if you're doing like a back-to-back watching, I think this film will work great in that.
Yeah.
But as a standalone, it lacks some of the stuff that you might want to get from just a standalone film because it's so tied into elements of other parts of the trilogy. So
cool.
But it's fun. Glad I watched it.
Yeah, me too. And real quick, I want to talk about one other movie. I do not want to spend a lot of time on it. But
which means it was a great movie.
Yeah, so this next movie is called Serenity. Give you a synopsis here real quick. A fishing boat captain juggles facing his mysterious past and finding himself ensnared in a reality where nothing is what it seems. Directed by Stephen Knight, stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Diane Lane, and Jimon Hansu, and Jason Clarke and some other people. But oh man, this movie was not good, man. And
it didn't do very well.
Let's say I'm excited to talk about this briefly because when we get to the worst of, I know that this is going to be on that list.
Ooh, sneak preview of our worst of.
Yes, exactly. Because I feel like I struggle finding worst of movies. This is totally going on the list.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it. I'm just going to tell you I'm going to give it a 58, and I'm going to give it 58 because one, I feel like this movie was trying to be. Was trying to throw like a M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end that was not deserved or pulled it off in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You don't care about the characters. I didn't care for Matt McConaughey and Hathaway, Diane Lane, Jason Clarke, anybody except for maybe Jimon Hansu. I kind of liked him, but he was like the only guy with like a moral compass. And he's not even in the movie that much.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of like, hey, you're kind of shady. Everybody's super shady, and I couldn't get on board with anybody. And that was a hard thing for me. And then some stuff happens at the end with the twist, and I was like, really? That's weird. And then it made it almost seem like all the time that you invested with them in that first hour, 15, 20 minutes was like for nothing. I was like, what? And it was just weird. And they tried to make this like emotional core, like part of the twist. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't really spend any time with this other person to really, it doesn't pay off. Like I didn't like it.
Sorry.
It's kind of a weird movie.
I'm sorry, Matt.
It's a weird movie, guys. There's some cool elements, visually kind of cool on the island that they're on.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's really it. 58 first F of the year, I believe.
Yeah.
And
won't be the last.
It's still better than Holmes and Watson. And
yes.
I'm
not going to say anything more.
Anyways,
yes, I continue to refuse to talk about that movie in any way.
That's all I got, though, guys. So Serenity. If you got any questions on Serenity or a few thoughts on our review of it, or How to Train Your Dragon: Hidden World, email us, let us know. You can also reach out to us on facebook.com/The Real Review, Twitter, Instagram, all those social medias, Real Review Media. So at Real Review Media, and then youtube.com/The Real Review. And let us know what's up. RealReviewMedia@gmail.com. Email us.
Yeah, boy.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. Final thought. How to Train Your Dragon. I thought it was funny, but also kind of annoying at times how much they relied on your knowledge of the actual actor being the character being portrayed on screen, if that makes sense. There was like a number of jokes that was like, oh, well, Kit Harington is so much more attractive than, what's his name?
Hiccup?
No, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, the other guy?
Yeah,
Jonah
I can't
Hill's
think of them.
character?
Jonah Hill, yeah. And it was like a reliance on your knowledge of them in real life. And there was times where there was like 3 or 4 jokes like that kind of went through the fourth wall in a weird way. And it was kind of clever, but it was also like, I wish you'd just keep this more in the film.
I didn't even catch that.
I did. Yeah,
I don't remember which one Kit Harington was, so it's all good.
Yeah, never mind. He was Errett. He was the big burly, attractive man. Yeah. So
awesome. Well, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
That was a final thought.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. And it's been real.
It's been real.